Hi, my name is Terry with 330 Media, and today we have a very special broadcast for you. If you're in the middle of Christmas decorating or you've already done it, stop what you're doing, sit back, get some hot cocoa, and make sure that your house is wired for fun and safety this holiday season. So like I said, I have invited a very good friend of mine, James Pantalone, who is the Fire Chief of Howland Township, to kind of have a very candid conversation with myself, and figured it would be good information for all of you to watch. There are families who have been devastated through just the loss of a holiday or the loss of family members, because we just kind of like to go la 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 and act like this isn't going to happen to us. So, in keeping with my channel, I just will say I bless everybody watching that you're going to stay safe and healthy and protected this year. But partnering with a fire chief to say what are some practical ways that we can do that.
We'll start off with the basics. Number one, if you're getting a live tree, one of the first things you want to do is make sure that it's being watered regularly. That will help keep it damp, the limbs damp, the trunk damp. It'll keep water in it. That helps limit it drying out. The drying out, just as any forest fire or anything that you see throughout the year, dry tinder is a problem with heat. We've got live trees, we've got artificial trees. Both of them have their own fire hazards. An artificial tree is made of plastics, is made of materials that are flammable and can catch fire. So we do have the same problem on both of them of overheating electrical elements that could catch them on fire. But overall, for both of them, placement is certainly very important. Keep them away from open flames. I know this time of year, a lot of people like to have candles and scented candles that make your house smell wonderful. But those are very dangerous if they're close to either an artificial or a real tree. A lot of lights have gone to LED, which is great because LED doesn't push out a lot of heat. But some of the older lights, if you've not upgraded in a while, they get pretty warm, and a dry tree in conjunction with a warm light is just a recipe for disaster for that. So keeping safe distances, locating it away from open flames, fireplaces, any of those areas is certainly good for both artificial and live trees.
All right, so keeping with that, Christmas lights, just because they make them possible to connect a million on top of a million, give me the real scoop on that.
I put Christmas lights up at my house on the gutters. I switch into my Clark Griswold hat during the time, and I love the beautiful decorations. First of all, when you're looking to buy decorations and string-along lights, some of them will be listed right on the package. They should be listed on the package if they are string-along and how many strands you can put together. It's already been calculated on the package by the manufacturer. Look at the lights. Are they string to string? And how many strings can you put together, and follow their rules? They're giving you that right there is the safety item. Don't just say, I'm going to throw another one on. No, if it says 5, stick with 5.
So speaking of plugs, how bad are these? I'm going to throw up a picture here.
I see some good things in there, I think, because I saw some, 6 outlet boards up there. And, that bottom one has a few of the smart outlets there, it looks like, and some Alexa items or, things that work with Amazon. On a 6 outlet board that has a circuit breaker on it, which is very good. We encourage use of those circuit boards with a circuit breaker on them. The other one that has the block of the multiple blocks there into the 2 outlet blocks with about 5 extension cords, certainly super dangerous. Overheating, you're pulling too much off of that, and those cords are just not made to deal with that.
Space heaters. I live in an older home. We've done a lot of remodeling, so drafts and heat is an issue. Trying to get heat. How do we solve this problem, and what makes these so bad?
Okay, so space heater safety is you should only operate the space heater when you are in the room and can tend to the space heater.
Okay.
So you're there, it's visual, it's visible, you can tend to it if something happens, you can immediately deal with the situation. Certainly never leave space heaters running, unattended, left alone. Leaving the house is certainly a no-no. So, I mean, I get it. I use, at my office, one of my offices, I use it. When I leave the office, I unplug it from the wall and leave it, leave the cord on the ground. It never stays plugged in when I'm not there, and it never runs, obviously, when I'm not there.
So a couple of tips about that would be, if you spend $100 on a heater, don't try to get 40 years use out of it. You need to know that this is an investment you might be making every other year or every year to even ensure greater safety. You can't get caught up in the dollar amount and think that that was for a long period of time.
Correct. I mean, I'm not advocating that you need to, buy a new heater every year, but I'm advocating the fact that you need to be mindful of not keeping the heater that grandma gave you.
Right.
So inspect it regularly, look at all the cords, look at all the unit, and, make sure it's safe to use. I want to encourage you to get your smoke detectors up, whether they're hardwired, tend to them, and change your batteries twice a year. Because I'm telling you, smoke detectors absolutely save lives. Now, there's another component that people don't think about a lot about smoke detectors as well. For those that are hearing impaired, there is an option for you as well. There are smoke detectors out there with lights that strobe. There is also a smoke detector out there, and you can contact your local Red Cross, that actually vibrates. It goes under your pillow at night while you're sleeping, and it links up with, it hears the sound of a regular smoke detector, and then it alerts and will vibrate your pillow. So certainly hearing impaired, visually impaired, there's items out there for you. You just have to ask the right questions. We want everybody to be safe with smoke detectors and have all the options. So one of the other tips that I would recommend that you, if you do not have any carbon monoxide detection in your house, I would certainly highly recommend that you have something for that. They're like a smoke detector. There's many smoke detectors out there that do both. Smoke detectors and carbon monoxide all into one unit. Carbon monoxide is a gas that comes from incomplete combustion. So basically, your furnace that maybe hasn't been maintained well, or you haven't had it cleaned or serviced regularly, and the flame isn't burning properly. A hot water tank that is old, it's not gone yet, and it's still functioning, but it's not burning properly. So what it's doing is it's producing a odorless gas called carbon monoxide that you will never know is in your house unless you have a detector. Stop and roll if your clothes are on fire, or if you're in a fire and you catch on. I mean, stop, drop, and roll to put the flames out. Stay low, no an exit plan.
I'd like to thank Chief Pantalone for taking the time to help us know the safety measures that we need to take for our homes, for our families. If you'd like to give back to our local fire stations and all the work that they do to ensure our safety, James said this would be a great year to do it. They're exhausted. They've been working just like a lot of our frontline workers have been. And he said they do have some limitations on the things that they can accept and when they accept them. But if you call your local fire station and find out what their need might be and find a way to meet it, it would be a great way to give back to your community.